If you're looking for a realistic way to build a real income online, then affiliate marketing is, in my opinion, still one of the best opportunities available to a beginner today. I have been doing this for close to 10 years and it's how I make a living online, and I can tell you that the opportunity is very much real. But here is also the honest truth. Most people who try affiliate marketing fail. From what I have seen and heard from hundreds of people in this space, 90% or more of people who start, they quit within the first year, and in many cases without having ever seen any real earnings. And this is not meant to scare you off, it's just meant to prepare you. Because in this video, I'm not going to give you a step-by-step tutorial. Instead, I want to help you answer a more important question first, and that is affiliate marketing actually right for you? And if you can answer that honestly before you start, then you will either save yourself months of frustration or give yourself a real reason to commit and improve your chances of success. So let's start by talking about why most people fail. So the first reason is wrong expectations. And when I first started, for example, I thought it was very simple. I thought I could just write some content, then you put some links in, and then the money, they just follow. And that was generally what I believed. So I tried things on and off for around 8 to 10 months without really committing, and also without any real structure and without understanding what it actually takes. And a big part of this, it comes from what you see online, because if you start an offline business, then everybody around you knows that it takes years to build something real. But online, because of all the fake guru content out there, people expect results in weeks or even days, or in some cases hours. And now with AI, that has gotten even worse. But AI is genuinely a powerful tool and I use it every day myself. But there are now a huge number of videos and courses claiming you can use AI to automate everything and earn money with almost no effort or any skill at all. But here is what I have actually seen. The people who succeed with AI are not the ones who think it replaces them. They are the ones who use it to do more with the time they have, to improve their output, to do things faster, and to become more creative. If you think AI means you no longer need ideas, judgment, or real skills, then you are going to be disappointed, at least for now. We'll of course have to wait and see what happens in a year or two. And I also want to be very direct about something very important in my opinion, because a large part of the content you see on YouTube about AI money methods is made by people who are not actually earning from the methods they are showing. They are earning from the video about the method, and then the next day they will make a new video about a new magic AI method, and so on. So keep that in mind when you see all this AI hype. And the second big reason people fail, in my experience, is that they are not taking it seriously enough. Because most people approach this as something they will try for a few weeks and then see what happens. They never commit to structured learning, structured testing. They never give any single approach enough time to actually find out if it is working. And connected to this is also to spread too thin. Because, for example, starting a blog, a YouTube channel, social media accounts, trying different niches at the same time, it feels productive, but it's just not. Because in many cases when people spread so thin, nothing gets far enough to work because your attention is just spread across everything. And I've seen this many times. When people first start, they get very excited and they want to start all their idea at once, and then they go all in for 1 to 2 weeks, and then they've just burned out, and none of these projects have actually really even started because you've just done a little bit here, a little bit there. So let's also just talk about what I would call the comparison trap, which is another big reason many people fail. And then we'll go over an honest income timeline that we of course also need to talk about. But what is this comparison trap then? Well, it can, for example, be that you see a story about someone who went viral and they made thousands of dollars in their first month. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you start to think that you should get that too. But that is just not the reality for most people. That is the story you hear because it's unusual. And the people building real income online, they mostly did it slowly, without a viral moment and without anyone noticing, until it was already working. Exactly how long this will take? Well, there's no exact answer, but let's talk about that next. So what does a realistic timeline actually look like if you want to build a potential full-time income online? Well, in the first 3 to 6 months, most people will earn very little and in some cases nothing, or maybe just a few dollars here and there. And this is usually where people quit, not because affiliate marketing does not work, but because they expected more. I went through a long stretch of minimal results myself, and after my first on and off period, I actually reset completely. I then found a clear niche I wanted to focus on. I committed to one approach, and then I started learning in a structured way instead of just guessing. And then slowly things started moving. First, just a little bit of money here and there, but it was actually real. But even then, it was not a straight line. There were good months and there were also months where things went backwards. And even now there are also ups and downs. And that's a part of having an online business. But for me to reach a point where this was my main income, it took roughly 1.5 to 2 years. And while I was building it, I was combining it with some freelance work, so I had income coming in while I built it. I have also seen people reach a full-time income in maybe 6 to 12 months. So it is possible, but from the hundreds of people in this space that I have followed or talked to, that is just not the typical experience. For most people who actually make it, it takes longer. And it's very important to know this before you start, because if you expect results in 3 months and you are still at almost zero at month 4, you will probably quit. But if you understood from the start that month 4 at close to zero is completely normal, then you have a real chance of making it. Now let me be very specific about what this actually takes from you. So first, how much time do you need to commit? Well, honestly, if you cannot commit to a minimum of around, for example, 8 to 10 hours per week, then it will be very hard to build any real momentum, especially at the start when everything just takes longer. For example, writing your first piece of content, figuring out a video idea and script, editing something for the first time, that can take a very long time when you're a beginner. But what eventually maybe takes you just 20 minutes, it can take you 2 hours when you first start. That is normal, and it does get faster, but you do need to get through that early phase first. And people who end up making it online, they just see this as a part of the process. They don't see it as something that they just have to do once in a while when they feel motivated. It's just something that they want to do every week because they know that they have to do it to get the results they want. So another thing that it requires from you is some kind of content creation, because affiliate marketing just involves creating content in some form. There are many ways to do that. It can, for example, be written articles, YouTube videos, short form, social media content. It can be email, be paid ads. There are many different ways to do it. And you do not need to be a professional at the start. Most people that start completely from scratch, myself included. But you do need to be willing to create things consistently and then get better over time. This is actually also where AI can genuinely help you. It can help you plan content, improve what you write, working through ideas faster. So I definitely suggest you use AI, but keep in mind, as mentioned earlier also, angle, the perspective, the thing that makes it your content and makes your content different from everything else out there, that still has to come from you. And in my experience, the people who do not use AI critically, they usually end up failing because they just end up producing things that nobody's actually interested in. Another thing you need to be willing to do is to learn, because here I'm not just talking about watching random tutorials, but actually understanding why something works so you can apply it in your situation. Because someone else's exact steps from maybe 2 years ago in a different niche or in a different situation, it doesn't automatically work for you. So you need to be willing to test and keep learning. And another very important thing it also takes is patience. Can you keep moving forward for months without seeing big results? Because almost everyone who actually makes it has had to do exactly that. So be aware of that. Ask yourself that question. So let's talk about who tends to make it in my experience. And I've been around this long enough to see clear pattern in the people who succeed. And they're not always the most talented people. And they're not always the ones who pick the best topics, the best niches, or had the clearest strategy from day one. What they have is patience and a genuine willingness to keep learning. They also usually went through a period of real doubt. I definitely know I also did. Because when I first started, I honestly did not believe online income was real for someone like me. I thought the only people that make money online were people convincing others they could make money online. So I did not want to be a part of that, and that doubt actually almost stopped me before I ever gave it a serious attempt. What changed it for me personally was that I started to see real examples. I saw people building content businesses in completely unrelated niches. It was, for example, cooking, travel, finance, fitness, and nobody was selling a dream. They were building something useful for an audience, and then they monetized it honestly. And when I saw that, I knew that is what I wanted to do. So it kind of clicked, and then I committed to it properly, and then slowly I started seeing results. So how do you actually know if this is worth trying for you? Here are a few honest questions to ask yourself. Can you commit consistently for at least 12 months knowing you will probably not see big results in the first 3 to 6 months? Are you willing to create content of some kind? It doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. You don't even have to show your face in many cases, but you need to do it consistently. And do you have a topic you know something about, or are you willing to put real effort into learning one? And can you stay focused on your own progress instead of measuring yourself against the viral success stories you see online? If the honest answer to most of these is yes, then this might be a good fit for you. But if you hesitated on most of them, that's also very good for you to know before you invest months going into it with the wrong expectations and going in the wrong direction. So one more thing before I finish, because if you decide to move forward, I do think finding some kind of structured course or resource is worth it rather than trying to piece things together from random videos. That can definitely save a lot of time, and that's also how I did it when I first finally started seeing results. But I also want to be honest with you about this, because the majority of affiliate marketing courses will not help you. In my experience, somewhere around 80 to 90% of them are built to make money for the person selling them, not to actually help you succeed. So be very critical if you decide to learn it from a course. You need to look for transparency, real examples, and someone who is actually doing the thing they are teaching and not just teaching it. I do have a link in the description to something I think is a solid starting point if you want to explore it further, and this is taught by someone I actually know in person and who I know cares about quality. So you can check that out if you're serious about it. Of course, there's no pressure, it's just if you are interested. But no matter what, if you have any experiences yourself with affiliate marketing, have you succeeded, have you not, why not, I would love to hear that in the comments below. And if you have any questions also, just ask. I make sure to reply to all questions. And finally, if this video helped you, make sure to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out next time I release a video with tips and tricks about different ways to make money online.